The blazing sun hangs high in the Kalahari sky, pouring fire on the arid land, where the heat can burn away all life. In that endless sea of red sand, there are still small creatures that stubbornly survive, the tiny warriors of the desert. This is where instinct, intelligence, and venom coexist in a cycle of life and death. A world where even the smallest mistake can cost you your life. Meerkat versus snake. The power of intelligence against deadly venom. The red dawn gradually spreads over the Kalahari land. The sand stretches endlessly, reflecting the fierce sunlight, making the whole space seem to be on fire. The dry wind whistles through the low thorn bushes, carrying with it the dry heat and the smell of burnt earth. Here, every creature must adapt or disappear. The rare rains come only a few weeks a year, then recede, leaving behind a sea of dry, cracked sand, and life clinging to life day by day. However, beneath the hot soil, another world is transforming. In the cooler underground, where the light cannot reach, a tiny creature has just been born. Weighing less than 30 grams, not yet open-eyed, hairless, completely helpless. This is a baby meerkat, one of the most resilient inhabitants of the Kalahari. Unlike many other animals, they live in herds that are as close as a unified family. Each member has a role: hunting, guarding, caring for the young. In that society, no individual is left behind. While the herd is busy searching for food under the harsh sun, in the nest, the young creatures still huddle in the ground. The air in the cave is quiet, only the faint breathing mixed with the damp soil. But on the sand, death is approaching. From afar, a dark figure silently appeared, the black-backed jackal, the opportunistic hunter of the Kalahari. Ears pricked high, nose sniffing down to the centimeter. It heard a faint cry from deep underground, a sound that guided the veteran hunter. It walked slowly, its golden eyes gleaming in the morning sun, then stopped at the mouth of the cave. claws scrabbled the sand, clumps of dirt flying up in a frenzy. A few adults nearby heard the noise. They reared up, howled in alarm, and ran back to their nests at full speed. Finally, the jackal retreated. There was only a heavy silence, and the fear of the young meerkat in the darkness. For the first time, it understood that even the deepest underground was not truly safe. Three weeks later, the little creature emerged from the darkness for the first time. Its name was Kulka. The blazing light of the Kalahari made him squint, the heat rising from the sand, threatening to swallow his fragile body. But Kulka was not alone. Around him was a whole pack of his kind, creatures that had learned to survive in this dry hell. As the adults climbed up the sentinel mounds, the rest of the pack began to dig, searching for food in the hot sand. The rustling of their claws mingled with the desert wind, the survival song of the small but indomitable. Kalahari dawn. The first light of day spilled across the red sand, illuminating the Meerkat fortress mounds. Inside, Kulka and the other cubs prepared to begin their first day of school. The adults used a tactic passed down through generations to dodge the first blow. Then, in a flash, snap off the scorpion's tail before eating. Kulka watched, then imitated the movement clumsily, but accurately. Kulka hesitated. Its black-rimmed eyes help it focus on the movement of its prey. Its long, antenna-like tail sways for balance. Then, instinctively, it lunges, clumsy, slow but determined. The scorpion spins, its stinger flashing. But meerkats have evolved to deal with the stinger. They are one of the few species that can resist scorpion venom thanks to a special neuroprotective mechanism. For the first time in its life, it bit its prey without fear. The taste of earth, the heat of sand, and the scent of victory spread in its mouth. In the arid Kalahari, every small creature was a testament to the power of adaptation. For Kulka, each skill it learned was a step closer to survival. And it did not know that more severe challenges awaited it, where wisdom would have to confront true venom. Noon was approaching. The air in the Kalahari was thick. The sands trembled in the heat. Small figures scattered across the burning yellow grasslands, continuing their daily work, searching for food and raising their young. But in the seemingly peaceful land, danger was always present everywhere. A slight movement sounded from a nearby thorn bush. Sand fell, rustling, and a triangular head slithered out. It was the desert cobra, one of Africa's most feared killers. Its eyes were cold, its neck slowly expanded, its fangs flashing in the evening light. The venom of this species contained neurotoxin. Just a few drops were enough to paralyze its prey in an instant. It sprayed with such precision that it could shoot venom into the eyes of its enemies from a distance of more than 2 meters. Kulka stood still. The distance between it and death was only a few steps. Its instincts told it to run, but its small body could not move. In that moment, a decision was made. Kulka let out its first alarm call. The high-pitched sound echoed through the space, a primitive signal programmed into the species' DNA. In just a few seconds, the signal was transmitted, and from afar, the pack immediately responded. Small bodies rushed forward, as fast as small rays of light in the fiery sunset. The adults stood up straight, their hair standing on end, using hissing and threatening gestures to suppress the predator. A tense battle between deadly venom and united strength broke out. Finally, overwhelmed by the numbers and the stubbornness of the small one, the snake suddenly turned its head, slithering into the grass, leaving behind its warning hisses. The meerkats all cried out in victory, gathering around the cave entrance. Kulka trembled, but his eyes were shining as he had learned the greatest lesson. Life is not protected by strength alone, but by the courage to confront. The sun gradually sank below the horizon, dyeing the Kalahari a fiery red like burning coals. The afternoon wind blew, carrying the smell of dust and heat rising from the ground. After the life and death encounter, the meerkats returned to the mouth of the cave, the safest place in this endless desert. The adults checked their surroundings, ears still pricked high, eyes constantly scanning. Vigilance was never allowed to rest, even when the enemy had retreated. In the middle of that small circle, Kulka stood upright. Ears pricked high, eyes looking far away as if still listening to the breath of the desert. It no longer hid deep underground like the early days. Now, it was brave enough to look straight into the sky where death could strike at any moment. An adult individual emitted a low, short, and steady call, a sound only used when recognizing a new individual as mature enough to join the guard. There was no solemn ceremony. Just a moment of silence, and from then on, Kulka became the first young guard of the pack. In the world of meerkats, guarding is a sacred duty. When an individual goes up to the guard tower, it must be ready to warn, sometimes with its own life. These sentinels take turns throughout the day, always choosing the highest spot, regardless of the scorching heat or the scorching sand winds. Researchers have recorded that an individual meerkat can stand guard for more than an hour without moving from its post, while the rest of the herd digs below. It's the perfect group survival strategy, honed over thousands of generations, where trust is the foundation of life. The next morning, the dawn broke over the parched Kalahari. The early morning wind carried the smell of dust and heat, filtering through the thorn bushes that swayed weakly in the early morning sun. The herd had left their dens early in search of food. In a moment of digging, following the tracks of insects, Kulka had strayed from the group without realizing it. At first, it was just a few steps further than usual. But in the vast expanse of sand, a small distance could become an endless isolation. No more familiar calls, no more alarm cries. Just heat and silence weighing down the space. Kulka stopped, ears pricked high, eyes darting around in unease. He followed a small path that led to a wide open space where the wind blew hard, the sand dust flying like smoke. And then, in the shimmering sunlight, a large movement appeared. Kulka crouched behind a dry thorn tree, his eyes wide open before him. A herd of wildebeests were grazing in deadly silence. The air was heavy, as if the entire desert was holding its breath. From afar, in the red dust, shadows moved faintly. They were a pride of lions. Their bodies pressed close to the ground, moving slowly, each step as light as the wind. The golden eyes locked on the herd of wildebeests. The prey was in sight. The Kalahari lions were one of the rare populations adapted to the desert climate, able to live for days without drinking water. Their pale fur helped them blend into the sand, and the black manes of the males were a symbol of age and power. The distance between the predator and the prey was getting narrower. Suddenly, the dust rose violently. The lions rushed out like golden arrows in the sunlight, sand flying everywhere. The wildebeests ran, their feet pounding like thunder, but not in time. One was taken down in the blink of an eye. The chaos gradually dissipated, leaving only the sound of the wind and the heavy breathing of the ruler. Claws, sand, blood, and silence. The truest picture of the vortex of survival. From the hiding place, Kulka remained motionless. His small eyes reflected that scene for the first time in his life. He understood that outside the herd, this world was so cruel that even a blink of an eye could cost him his life. The sand gradually quieted. The red dust dissipated in the wind. In the distance, the lions had disappeared behind the grass dunes, leaving only the ground mottled with footprints and pale blood. Kulka still stood there, motionless, his small body trembling in silence. The world he was seeing was brilliant, cruel, and breathtakingly real. Then, in the gentle breeze, a familiar sound rang out, the shrill call of its kind. The thin, urgent sound echoed through the desert like an invisible string pulling it back. Kulka raised his head, his ears perked up. Fear gradually gave way to instinct. He rushed forward. Small footsteps hurried through the dry grass, through the scorching sun, each heartbeat harmonizing with the whistling wind. And then, in the harsh light, the familiar silhouette of the herd appeared. Small bodies standing upright, alert eyes looking into the distance. Kulka ran forward, rushing into the middle of that encirclement, the safest place in this harsh world. The joyful cries rang out, the breaths mingled, and in that moment, all fear vanished. The afternoon fell. The sunset covered the Kalahari with the last fiery red of the day. The meerkats huddled at the mouth of the cave. Their shadows cast long shadows on the cracked sand. Amidst those shadows, Kulka stood upright, his ears erect, his eyes looking far away, no longer the immature one of the past, but a true sentinel. As the night fell on Kalahari, all sounds gradually quieted down, leaving only the gentle breath of life amidst the red sand. Kulka and his herd gathered underground again, preparing for a new day of survival. In a world where venom and claws dominate, intelligence and solidarity are still the true strength that helps them overcome. Because in nature, the survivor is not the strongest, but the one who knows how to adapt and protect each other. What do you think about the strength of meerkats? Leave your opinion in the comment section below. And don't forget to ring the bell and subscribe so you don't miss the next wildlife survival series.